start off this morning with one that I loved reading when our boys were little, called Muncha, Muncha, Muncha. Has anybody read this book before? It's a book that you guys know? So this is a book about a guy having to learn how to be nice to his neighbors. And he doesn't like his neighbors at first. Okay, so today we're talking about this guy. See him right there? That guy there? That is Mr. Greeley. Okay? So for years, Mr. Greeley, he dreamed of planting a garden. See, look at this big backyard he's got. He's got lots of space for a garden, right? He dreamed of planting a garden. He dreamed of getting his hands dirty and of growing yummy vegetables and gobbling them all up. Who likes vegetables? We have some vegetable lovers? All right. Well, that's all he wanted to do. He wanted to grow vegetables and get his hands dirty, and he was looking forward to it. But he never tried it until this spring, said Mr. McGreeley. This spring, by golly, I'm going to plant a garden. So he hoed, and he sowed, and he watched the garden grow. Lettuce, carrots, peas, tomatoes. Yum, yum, yummy, said Mr. McGreeley. I'll soon fill my tummy with crisp, fresh vegetables. But Mr. McGreeley was not the only one watching the garden. One night, when the sun went down and the moon came up, 3 hungry bunnies appeared. See them right there? Tippy, 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 pat. Muncha, muncha, muncha. Look at what they're doing. The next morning when Mr. McGreeley saw his gnawed sprouts, he was angry. So he built a small wire fence all around his vegetable garden. Because these are his vegetables, not no bunny vegetables, right? He was getting them for himself. There, he declared, no bunny could get into my garden now. Look, he's got a fence all around it. He's going to keep it safe. But then, guess what happened? The sun went down. And the moon came up. And tippy, 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 pat. Spring, hurdle, dash, dash, dash. Muncha, muncha, muncha. Those bunnies got the vegetables anyway, didn't they? The next morning, when Mr. Greeley saw his nibbled leaves and the gnawed sprouts, he was really angry. So he went and he built a tall wooden wall. Look how much taller. See, that's the little fence he had the first day? Look how much taller it is. He put it behind the small wire fence all around his vegetable garden. Humph, he huffed. Those flop ears will never get over it. No bunny can get into my garden now. But then the sun went down. And the moon came up. And tippy, 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 pat. Dig, scrabble, scratch, scratch, scratch. Spring, hurdle, dash, dash, dash. Muncha, muncha, muncha. Oh my goodness. Look at this one. Do you think he did any of the work? Look at these two look like they worked pretty hard to get in there, and this one looks like he's just relaxing. So what do you think happened when Mr. Greeley woke up the next day? Do you think he was excited and happy? Yes. No. The next morning when Mr. McGreeley saw his chewed stems, his nibbled leaves, and his gnawed sprouts, he was really, really angry. So he made a deep, wet trench outside the tall wooden wall. You can see what he's digging right there? It's like a moat around the castle, right? So he put it outside the tall wooden wall, behind the small wire fence, and all around his vegetable garden. Ha! He snorted. Those pufftails can't get under it. They can't get over it. No bunny can get into my garden now. Probably. We'll see. But then what happened? The sun went down. The moon came up and tippy, 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 pat. You heard the sounds of the bunnies. What are they going to do this time? Dive, paddle, splash, splash, splash. Dig, scrabble, scratch, scratch, scratch. Spring, hurdle, dash, dash, dash. Muncha, muncha, muncha. And look, they even used his hose to get over the wall. He should have put that away, shouldn't he? He left it out. They used it. Well, the next morning, when Mr. Greeley got up, he wasn't angry. He wasn't really, really angry. He saw his chopped blossoms. He saw the chewed stems, his nibbled leaves and his gnawed sprouts, and he was furious. So he hammered and he blocked. He sawed and he stocked. He drilled and filled and trapped and locked. And he built a huge, enormous thing. Before the deep, wet trench, outside the tall wooden wall, behind the small wire fence, all around his vegetable garden. I've outsmarted those twitch whiskers for sure, he exclaimed. They can't get through it. They can't get under it. They can't get over it. No bunny, no way, no how can get into my vegetable garden now. Look at that. Basically a prison. He's got searchlights and this. Oh my gosh! Look at that door. It's like a little castle around a vegetable garden. Do we need a castle around a vegetable garden? Yes. Maybe for these bunnies, huh? Sometimes. But then the sun went down and the moon came up and tippy, tippy, tippy. Stop. The 3 hungry bunnies looked and smelled and touched the huge, enormous thing before them and tippy, 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 pat. The bunnies hopped away. The next morning, when Mr. McGreeley saw his untouched vegetables, he was really happy. He was so happy. Look at the smile on his face. Look at that big smile he's got. He was so excited. He's like, finally, I beat the bunnies, he whooped. And he did a jiggly wiggly victory dance. Then he climbed over, jumped across, squeezed between, and crawled under until he reached his vegetable garden. Ah, sighed Mr. McGreeley. At last, smacking his lips, he picked and pulled up lettuce, carrots, peas, tomatoes, and with his basket overflowing, he reached inside for something yummy. What would you pick of all those choices? Carrots? Tomatoes? Good. And what do you think he did? He was surprised because muncha, muncha, muncha. Oh my goodness, how did that happen? I think they were hiding in his basket all night. What do you think? Did they figure out a way to sneak through again? Yeah. And then what happens? They decided to be friends. Aww. So he decided to share his vegetables with them.